All right, folks, we're back for another episode of how you can use Relatable to grow your podcast. And this week, we're going to talk about creating interactive video quizzes and acquiring guests for your podcast. So these are, as we like to call them, numbers 5 and 6 in the in what we've built here with Relatable. And I'll do a quick review for those of you that maybe aren't familiar. We've done a couple weeks ago, the first episode, we talked about how to grow your podcast, and then by showing people, hey, this is what the show is about. Then we had a template of how to engage with existing listeners. Last week, we did a couple more. One was requesting feedback to get a better podcast. And then the other was the testimonial success story podcast template. So these are things we'll be doing next week. We're going to be having the free podcast accelerator training, which we'll be sharing the link in the comments for those of you that may want to join us. And so really excited too. Last week we talked about a new feature with Relatable, and that's the ability to leave ratings. And I think there's other things you could do with that. And it was like stars and sliders and all kinds of neat stuff that the dev team and Peter have been coming up with. So Peter, anything else you want to add or?
The only thing I want to add, guys, for all you guys listening, watching this live or listening to the replay, Jim's sick as a dog, but he showed up to do this training. So I really appreciate it, man, for doing that, sharing your dedication.
Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do, and at least we're not in the same room, so I won't get you sick.
Yeah, I've already. Well, Jim and I were talking off air. I already had the flu, so I guess he could maybe get me sick again, but I don't know.
Yeah. So let's get started here, Peter. What one of the things that so really the first thing we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to bring this video up, is the guest. And this is what we call this is the interactive video quiz, and this is a lot of fun. So what we did here is, I've recorded this so you guys don't have to listen to me, but this is in the template. I'm explaining what you're going to be doing, and part of that is, one, just in case they haven't yet, you're going to do the opt-in, because if you're going to be giving away prizes, you're definitely going to need to get their email address or phone number in order to give them that chance to win a prize. And you can see it's really that simple. They opt in, you hit the continue button. And so one of the things that we have really so many different choices. And so what I did in this in setting this up is, the first thing we do is we did a simple what I'll call just single choice question. And so let me see if I can go ahead and I'll fast forward this.
Well, while he's doing that too, I just want to mention, you guys, this back to builder, he's actually in what you would call the builder side. That would not show up on the viewer side, but he's able to preview and test what he's built before he sends it out, for people to view, for viewers to view it.
And so here we have the first question pop up. This was a true false. Was Dealcaster started on Facebook? Of course, I'm not going to tell you the answer, but I picked the answer, and then it continues the video. And so then the next question I came up with was a multiple choice. And so we can actually have them choose more than one answer. And so that's what we went ahead, and you're about to see this pop up, where we're going to give it multiple choices for them. And so, it can even be all the above if you wanted to do it. And so here's what that looks like. Well, actually, this was the popover. I'm sorry. So the popover allows us to have that pop up while I'm talking. Of course, I need to fix that so it's not covering my face, but I can do that. That's the beauty of this, is that I can actually go in and fix that so that doesn't happen. So they could click that. I'm still talking. That could be a QR code if you wanted to scan something and see what you got coming up. And so now I think we'll get into the actual what we call the multiple choice. Let's see if I get it there. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So there's the multiple choice question. And so you can see I pick what I think the two answers are. I probably know since it's about my show. And then the next thing we can do too is we can bring in what we call text answers. And now we have two choices, 160 characters, or it can just be, beyond that. I think I don't know if there's a limit. I haven't tested that, and I don't know that you want people writing a book on that. So let's get this to where I think we'll go ahead and be able to show you that. So this was like, what is our motto? And it's you can see I'm typing in there the
Is it do
answer.
no harm?
Don't fear the gear.
Don't fear the gear. Well, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Don't fear the gear.
Yep. And so there you go. We've had, those are three different types. And even when I thought about it, this, adding to it is the whole rating slider could even be another way to create some fun questions and to get some things going. And so,
one thing too, Jim, just for me to jump in here real quick, guys, for all of you, watching live or listening to the replay, as far as I know, Relatable is the only one out there of all the interactives where you can actually build this on your phone, not a desktop. So This is kind of an anytime, anywhere. All you need is your face, phone, and finger, and that's kind of what Jim is doing right on his phone. But you can build these things when you're in a taxi cab, a hotel room, an event, coffee shops, wherever you want, and then publish them out to your audience, whether they be podcasters or some other form of audience.
Right. Absolutely. All right. And so so then at the end too, right, we can send them back to, maybe you want to send them back to your podcast website. You really have a lot of choices. You give them a freebie of some sort for taking part in the quiz. Maybe you got to download. And so that's where at the end of this video here, I would, give them some choices. And so that's, and that can also be, as we've talked about before, that can be the graphics. So that was the first one that we talked about. But then one of the things we've talked about as well is, there's a lot of people like, how do I get guests? Well, we came up with the ability to do what we call a guest acquisition relatable. And so that you'll see here, I'm going to pull that up. And you're kind of seeing what it looks like in the back end of Relatable for you. Right here, I'm hit the test button. So I can, that's why as Peter said, you're seeing the back to builder. I could have a thumbnail if I wanted to. And so what I'm talking about here, and this is for the people that are going to be a part of the accelerators, I'm explaining to you what are the things you want to think about as you're getting ready to invite these people to be a part of potentially one of your podcast guests. So this is another one where you're going to want an opt-in because you're going to need that email to communicate with them based on what they provide in this. So this is something too, right? The beauty of what you can do with Relatable is the ways that you can share this. This could go out in an email. This could go out in a text message. This can go out as direct messages in LinkedIn and Facebook and
or WhatsApp if
you're WhatsApp. Yeah. And so that's really, really something that's powerful. Let me fast forward this a little bit.
Can I say one thing here, Jim?
Yeah.
So one of the things too, guys, to remember is, so in Relatable, you have two forms of feedback. One we call analytics. So analytics are, you don't necessarily know, they haven't done this opt-in. So you don't know who they are. It's kind of like Google Analytics with YouTube, but you can pull all kinds of data with analytics. Like you'll know where they came from, what country, what device they were on, how far in the video they got, if they finished the whole thing, how many people per day viewed it. And you can choose a time period like today, 1 week, 30 days, a quarter, 90 days. But what Jim did is when you ask for an opt-in, not only can you use it for email campaigns, you can ask for an email and or a phone number. But there's another section of analytics in Relatable. It's built in. It's called app data. So because Jim asked for an opt-in, all of the data from every single person, you can see how they answered the questions or how they tapped on buttons, which are touchables. like if they fill this thing out here, what that answer would be. And if you're making this what we call a shorter video, like a clips video, you can actually go in and you can text them, email them, or WhatsApp them right next to their answers. So you can get very one-to-one, very dialogue, very personal, and build that relationship with one to many on your audience in your podcast show.
Yep. And so this is like, as an example, what I set up is like, when we're reaching out to these people, what topics are you passionate about? We're going to use the text answer box for that. And so in my case, I said live streaming, and then they hit next, the video continues. And so, there's several things. And so this is kind of helping us screen whether or not this person or people are going to be good guests for our show. And so I think the next question I may have coming up here, we'll see in a minute, is, we want to know, if they've been a public speaker or if they've got some video so we can see what they look like. We're going to want them to provide us a link. And so this is where they could do that. So they could put in their link for maybe their YouTube channel, or maybe share something where they've been speaking before. And so, we kind of go through this series of questions. And so then this is what I'm explaining us, but that's why I didn't want to play the audio of that, because you can see this when you're become part of our accelerator, and then why do you want to be a guest on our show? That I think is, important for us to know, because that's, as we're looking into, are they going to be a good fit? These are some of the things that we need to know. And so, really you can make this as long or as short as you want. But I would also say that also tells you, are these people, if they're not willing to give you this information, they're probably not a good fit to begin with, because this is really, it's your show. You want to make sure that that these things that you're getting are going to make sense.
And Jim, what I think is super cool about this too is, because you have these people opt in, you could be sitting in a coffee shop, you could be sitting at a ball game. All you got to do is pull up your phone and you can go through every single person's answer, go, yep, that one fits. No, that one doesn't fit. Yeah, that one fits. And like I said, you could individually then text them or email them right there. So this truly isn't anytime, anywhere. You don't have to sit and go, well, I got to go back to my office and I have to sit at my desk and I got to pull this stuff up, like all the other video and software tools out there that are built around these interactives. You can literally do this on the fly. So Jim can be inviting guests when he's sitting at the Atlanta Braves baseball game if he wants to.
Right. Yep. Oh yeah, that would be fun, and that's coming up soon. I'm glad you.
And with a beer in hand, even better.
That's right. So, but and here, right, another question I ask is like, what unique perspectives will you share with our audience, right? Because these are sort of things we're trying to learn about, and so here, mine is experience as a live streamer for the past. Can't believe it's been 7 years, but been doing this.
You guys have been doing the show for 7 years, really?
Well, I've been doing this for 7 years. Dealcasters has been actually, it's been going on 5 years in July.
Wow. You guys are long timers.
I know, it's hard to believe.
No.
So
how much is Chris aged in that 5 years? Is he a lot older looking now?
He definitely, he's definitely been aging.
So if he's watching this, I just want to see if Chris watches this, because then he'll come back at us with that one.
That's right. Hey, and then this was the other question, is like, are they comfortable being live, being recorded, or both? Because if they're not comfortable being live and you're a live show like we are right now, that could cause a problem, as far as the video, because when you're live, that's there is no do-overs. That's where, at least if it's recorded, yes, you can, but not everybody wants to do.
Well, the other thing too is, if every other word is an F-bomb, that could be a real problem.
That's right. Yeah, and so then at the end here, we're going to kind of give them, we can use that touchable as a way to, like, somewhat further connect. You can come up with different things. I think in this case, I'm just setting them to our website our podcast page. Yep, and that's kind of
But
how
yeah,
we stop
and
that.
by the way, what Jim said earlier is that button, because he just kind of put these together really quickly. Plus, he wasn't feeling good. But guys, that button you can make into just go into free Canva or your paid Canva, and you can make a really nice, like for them, it'd be Dealcasters with their brand colors, their logo with Chris and Jim right on the button. So you can do all of those things very quickly in Canva, and then you just in Relatable, it's really simple. All you got to do is you push a button that says upload. It uploads it. You can preview it to see how it looks on the phone screen. And if you like it, you go done. And it's there. It's just that simple. It's not hard to do. A lot of you guys, we all use Canva. So a lot of you guys use Canva. You can make these custom images and buttons. They can be, smaller square buttons like an Instagram style, or I do them where they cover the whole screen, where just covers the whole screen and I'm standing there and say, hey, you'd like to have a meeting with me, and just tap here and it goes right to my calendar.
Yep. So did Lisa join us live? I think I saw.
Yeah, I think so. I think I see 5 on line. No, I don't.
Yes.
I can't
share Lisa's comment because StreamYard's having issues interfacing
She
comments.
said this sounds fantastic. So
it is, Lisa.
I can't see who's on. I know for all you guys that are live, you got any questions? If they ask questions, can you see them, Jim?
I'll see them. Yeah, if they put them in LinkedIn, we'll see them, and we can.
Okay. Cool.
We can definitely
anybody
answer
that has any questions about applications for this, or what you can use it for a lot of things. Jim has developed these whole podcasting templates, which makes it kind of a plug and play for you guys. It's really simple. And Jim, where are you guys at with Dealcasters on using these in your own show?
Yeah, so we've definitely used it to promote upcoming episodes. And so we use the the calendar reminder tool, which is, I think, powerful. We had a couple shows real close back to back. So what I'm going to do is take the last one we had, which was with Neil Schaefer, and give people a way to go and watch the replay. We're gonna do a Relatable that way.
Okay.
And so that that's the other thing. If you're not always able to get it out ahead of time, and then. I'm sharing for people in the comments the sign up for the podcast accelerator. So if you want to get signed up, it'll be this upcoming Monday and Tuesday, and I'll be sending some information out to folks that.
Do you want to? Why don't you talk a little bit, since we have a couple minutes? Why don't you talk a little bit about what are the? I know that it's free, which is good, but what's the outcomes? What are they getting out of the accelerator?
The whole idea behind the accelerator is we want you to walk away with relatables that are ready to go to get you growing that audience for your podcast, whether you choose to do the intro relatable, whether you choose to do, because my suggestion would be you either do the one that introduces your show or the engaged listener one, which is where you're able to set up those reminders for your upcoming show, because part of the beauty of that is it goes right to their calendar, depending on how they set their reminders up on their calendar, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it's popping up on their calendar. And neither of these first two relatables really requires them to opt in, because that's the other thing, Peter and I talk about a lot, is people aren't ready to give up their email yet if they don't know, like, and trust you. So these are good ways to get in front of people. And because of the multiple ways that you can share this, I think one of my favorites really is the reminders. I just, I use it for all kinds of stuff, Zoom meetings and other things in groups. And so, so that's really the whole plan, is you're going to walk away with a relatable that you can go out there and start using to grow your audience. And then you can start thinking, okay, now that I've done this, really what's the next thing? Because we want you to have in mind, what is it you hope to get out of using Relatable? If it's to teach people about your show, like we talked about last week, a lot of you probably are doing things that are outside of your, the podcast isn't what actually makes you money. It's a service or product that you use. And so this is another way to introduce that to your audience. So those are things that, that gets a little bit more, I don't know, complex is probably not the right word, but we want to give you the chance to get these things moving forward. And so, right, that's why I like the first two. Start simple, and then you can start to grow it as you gain and just gaining confidence in how to use Relatable. Which
once the key thing is once you build the first one, they're really easy. I will say it's kind of like when you're a kid riding a bike, you had your training wheels on, and then one day you go, you know what, I don't need this. Mom, Dad, give me a push. It's the same kind of thing. If you haven't been in front of video, like we're used to it because we've been in front of video. But when I first started, it was like a video,
right.
It was a little hesitant. But one thing I want to add is with this accelerator program with Jim and Mary, you're going to walk away with your first one that's built. So you'll have something. If you basically, it's simple as if you know how to copy and paste a link, you can share it everywhere. And sharing it everywhere, what Jim talks about, it can be email, it can be text, it can be LinkedIn, it can be Reddit, it can be Facebook, it can be we've tried Threads, it works. We've tried Alignable. If you're in the Alignable network, it works there, where you have the link or the dynamic preview image. So basically, wherever you go. Another thing is you can take this Relatable, the first one you're creating, and there's a spot in the menu item where you copy it and you can embed it on your website, right in the front page, if you want, on your podcast landing page. So, wherever you guys go or wherever you're looking for listeners, if you have the link, you can paste it. And then sometimes it's a link, it's allowable by whatever, like Instagram would be only a link. But if you go to, say, Alignable, you put the link in and it produces the dynamic image. So if you have a custom image and it just says tap here, they tap here and boom, your Relatable pops up and starts talking to them. So this is, I will say this, and Jim has tried this too, and he can speak to the numbers, but if you do use email and you want to send these out to people, not just your existing email, but you might have other emails that you want to send to, these come in as a dynamic preview image, and there's no text email. They just tap on it and boom, your Relatable pops up, right? And I know, Jim, you've done that. And what have you gotten for open rates and click-through rates on?
Yeah, I mean, we've had, the open rates have been, I think 60% or so, and the click-through rates have been at like 9%.
It's been like 14 to 18 times on click-through rates. So, compared to industry average, the cool thing too, guys, is what people we're noticing is, well, for example, you guys might all know BombBomb or Bonjoro. They do personalized videos. Yes, you're kind of doing that. They're not interactive. All there is just one-way talking dialogue. But I just looked up today, and if you look at these types of videos that really cut through the noise and really help you to become personal to these people that are your listeners. So it's not just, you send them an email or you send them a text, the way we all communicate, that's the way we all ignore things. That's the sea of noise. You're really cutting through that sea of noise. And, here's the thing. I just looked it up today. I think BombBomb has 45,000 users. Bonjoro has 30,000. So between the two, they have 75,000 users that are using these personalized videos that don't do near what Relatable can do. Yet they're using it because they're getting really good whatever they're doing, as far as sending out. But they don't do built-in interactives like we do. It's just a straight video. So, guys, there's so much. I mean, we have customers that put these on their website and they get 200 to 300% more engagement. You heard Jim with emails. We have other customers who are getting the same thing on emails. If you want to, and again, if you really want to break down those barriers of mistrust, because we all know everybody's BS meter is an all-time high, and you want to accelerate relationships and do it at scale, this is the way to do it. It really, we're seeing it left and right. Jim and I, we use Relatables all the time ourselves just because they work. So I think it'd be really cool, guys, if you came in and hung out with Jim and Mary, and I might pop in too, and build your first Relatable. It's free of charge, and go ahead and use it. Prove it to yourself. I tell people all the time, I guess 5-star reviews are cool, but the only one that really is going to understand and know the benefit of if this is going to work for you or not is you. And that's why we did the accelerator program, to let you build something. It's not hard to do. And then go ahead and copy and paste your link and put it everywhere. Right.
Yep.
And I guess the other thing, Jim, to add to that is, that's one thing Jim has always talked about. If you have a QR code or a link and you have that out there in whatever, 1,000 places, and you decide you need to change your video, those are not all broken links. You can change your link. The QR code and the link is active forever.
Yeah,
so
I'm
you
actually,
can change your video as many times you want.
I'm actually in a book that's on Kindle, and my link in that Kindle I've changed that video, and I'll probably change it again.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to change the link in the book. So I think that's pretty powerful. Not to mention if you're using, flyers in your community and you've got a QR code on there, and you can update what goes on that QR code to, maybe it's a meeting that you have and you want to update it to the next meeting. When they scan it, it'll give them that information.
Yeah. You have one of those, I guess, for podcasters where you're introducing a different guest each week and you just re-record it, but it's the same exact link.
Yep.
So
yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, we're just about at 30 minutes, and I don't see any questions from the audience, but we know there's some lurkers out there, because we can tell on the number of people watching us. So we appreciate you guys watching, even if it's in silence. Lisa, thank you for reaching, at least making a comment. We do appreciate that. And like we said, if you guys want to join us next week, it's free to join, and you'll definitely get value out of it. And we'll be doing this every month. We'll be doing these accelerators as well. So,
Jim, when they click on that link, it just goes to like a page where they sign up. Is that what it's doing?
Yep. Yeah, it's taking them. Yeah, it's taking them to our landing page for the accelerator. Cool. Yep. All right, folks. Well, thanks again, and we'll see you all soon. As we probably won't be live next week because we got the accelerator, but we'll be working up to the next accelerator. We'll be doing this stuff again. Yeah. Hope everyone has a good one.
Yeah. Hope you feel better, Jim.